in a lot of these energy transition methods is cutting out these systemic injustices that maybe before were perpetuated in the systems. Why do you think, and if so, why do you think specifically with the energy transition now people are so much more conscious of essentially mitigating these injustices?
That's a good question. I think actually, like right now, the government did do a good thing because they gave their subsidies with strings attached. And the string attached is you're more likely to win like a grant or like a tax, I think it's like a grant if you have a strong community benefits plan. So you have to just describe how this project will benefit the community. So they put a lot of weight into like grant selection on community benefits. So it's forcing the companies to start thinking about community benefits, building that expertise. And again, the hope is like that expertise begins becoming the norm. There are projects to point to in which it's successful, and therefore it becomes the expectation. Like, yeah, I think it is still a lot of like, here's money with strings attached, but it's working. I do think you're right in that it comes from like government incentives and regulations, though, still at this point. But it also comes from like grassroots organizing and like maybe investor pressure, like investors in those companies getting smarter and like caring about like racial justice and social justice, socioeconomic justice, like which I think is happening too.
If more people take this experiential ethics course and more people start listening to ethical considerations, maybe we'll start encouraging people to value it a little bit more when making.
I think it's also like we are at like some turning points, right? It's like there's this like awareness that like maybe things cannot continue as they used to. Like if we're thinking more in like social justice, like we're talking about like the movements during like COVID, or like sorry, pre and during COVID for like
Wow.
racial justice, right? And it remains to be seen that people are realizing that like things have to change. Same is true about like environmental injustices, like people in like, you know, they're no longer okay with having like oil wells in their backyards or like polluting like chemicals plants like all concentrated near them. I think there is an awareness at least that's happening, and it remains to be seen how much of that action or how much of that translates into action, or how much of like the government's like attempt at action will be sustainable long term with those like community benefits plans.